poem. There we go. Good evening, anybody that decides to watch the VOD and start off at the start. I'm late, and I'm myself. Me and Scott broke up, we don't talk no more. I told him I was sick of him. He's too handsome, and he also he has too calming a presence. And I like to be on edge, you know, like when you drink coffee and it's like having anxiety but fast. So I like to live my life. But he was too calming, he was too supportive. I told him, get out of here, I'm sick of you. So no Scott. Hey Bob, how we doing? Alright. Yamato, tell me a story. I think I've fought Uchitsuri in Monster Hunter.
再び悪鬼こしたれば弓をひっつかみイオトさんとて立ちに蹴り狙い誤たず矢ははるか雲をつかんと飛ぶ行きて打ちつね放つただ一死真の像を抜きたり悪鬼地に落ち末後の息を打ちつねこうに吐きつけるほどなく打ちつね随所に悪鬼の姿見えれば明賀の弓で余さず入れども人の叫びのみ聞こゆいらるるは皆人なり打ちつね子をついに捕らえられ死刑ならんと覚えども帝哀れにおぼしめす打ちつね対馬へ流されて幾とせの後事切れる覚えるものもわずかなり。
Oh, tragedy.
今日打ちしかの弓は対馬の島の者隠し。弓が待つのは名人かはたまた呪いの生贄か。
I'll take a curse bow.
Noroiはともかく良い弓のようだ。お気をつけくだされ。かの弓は求めるものを闇にいざなうと申します。覚えておこう。だがどこを探せばよいのだ。心を鎮めるため内常公は海辺へ行き青いアジサイの中を散歩していたとか手がかりになりますかな。
All right. Oh yeah, the Bard stories have been great so far. So I'll just catch up on. I won't go too deep into it. I'll wait till Scott gets here. He's not actually fired. Spoilers. He's just working late. We've got one Masako tale and one of these legendary stories, and then we are on to getting on to Act 2. I've been working off stream. I've been playing the game a bit. And I've managed to acquire some more stuff and things that should help us on the way. So it should be quite a fast one, which makes up for the lost time. Hopefully, that's the theory anyway. Excuse me, man in pants. Oh my goodness! Thank you, my friend. You are too generous to me, and I will tell stories of you. Not to my own kids, I won't have any, but I'll tell stories of you other kids and they'll be like, old man, leave me alone. Oh god damn it, I'm pressing Monster Hunter buttons. Yeah, I was just playing Monster Hunter before we came on there. A friend of mine asked if I would help him on a hunt and, you know, Dargo Hunter for Hire, can't say no to the call to action. Is it this way or is it? No, it's way more this way. Oh, I gotta go back up. No, I don't. Nice. Not even gonna question where that came from. So yeah, I've been doing a fair bit between the stream. I'm a wee bit more acclimated to the combat, so I should now actually be able to get through this with some kind of reasonable pace and not just fanny around and get slapped by the spears constantly. Yeah, Blue-Head Rangers. Where are they going to take me? The fuck are these? Garden gnomes? Okay, it looks like the hydrangeas are leading up this way. Ninjaing an entire Mongol camp is quite fun. So far, I've been just practicing the kind of samurai route so that I get more acclimated to the combat faster. But I do prefer cutting around as feudal Batman. What am I supposed to see here? Have I run past what I'm looking for? Follow the blue flowers. I did that, bro. Does it mean to... like, they stop? What's this? Oh, that's a corpse. Oh. Not quite. There's something at the top of this rock. Am I want to go up here? I don't think I can get up there. Unless this is some bullshit you need the grapple hook for. It's probably up there. I probably just ran by it. Wee! I thought I told you not to show your face round these parts no more.
I can't keep away, man.
Oh, damn it! I can't deny these feelings.
They can't keep us apart.
Come, let us elope. Hello.
How are we doing, good sir?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I can show off stuff now. I have been playing the game a little bit in between streams, finally.
You've been playing the game?
I have been playing the
How
game.
novel?
I know, I made some typo. No, that's not a fun swing. That's like the swings you see around Paisley Parks. Right, where am I actually gone here? I've just been told to look around for the blue flowers, and every bit of blue flowers I find don't seem to be leading me to the intended location.
They're not the right blue flowers.
Oh, well, fuck.
Well, I mean, like they probably are, but you just haven't found the right exact patch that it wants you to find. It's doing that open world game thing.
Mother bitch. Alright, well, before I get too far into it then, let me just show you all what I've been up to before we get started and stuff and things. So, first off, as you will see, we have only got this, the Curse of Uchitsune.
Yes.
and a Mother's Piece and the Active Tales left, and then we are on to the Iron Hook. So we're going to get Act 2.
Excellent.
Gear-wise, I've got some charms. I've been
You
working on
have.
my charms. I
You've
got
also
some
got
new.
only one slot left to unlock for charms, which is cool.
I got myself some new outfits. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I finally found some haiku places.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you like those? I
They
really
are
like them.
they are very interesting. I like making them and then they appear on the headband. So here's the ones I've got so far. This one was for reflecting on strife, I guess. So close behind the veil, peer through the mist, and we'll be shattered but alive.
Awesome.
The headband of death, bask in peace we rest, the earth's cold grasp underneath, ready for the end. It's good shit, it's good shit.
And then Refuge was your last one there. And I like that you chose to make this one about the Golden Temple.
Yes, a golden temple, submerged deep in nature's shade, sturdy do we stand.
Yeah. And I like that the headband itself is gold.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. So we got them. I got some new armor. I got Tadayori's armor for good bowman. Technique-wise, I've got 7 points to spend. I haven't put anything in.
Oh, excellent.
So we got plenty of buying and stuff. I've been around a few places. Got 13 of the Inari shrines so far.
Got 2 Pillars of Honor for your swords.
Yeah. But right now, I just need one more leader to get the moon stance. So I'm going to wait for the points and then put them in once I get moon stance.
You'll get that, no problem. In terms of sword kits, have you found any that you liked? That was the only other thing I wanted to see, maybe.
I actually have not purchased anything. So you see, I've got 24 flowers in my collections.
But the Pillars of Honor are where you find the sword kits. You don't usually buy those. So like how the actual cosmetics for the sword look.
Oh, okay. So I've got the Emperor's Tears.
So you find them at Pillars of Honor, and if you get the Winds of Vanity, you can follow it to Pillars of Honor and get some new ones.
I found this one earlier on, definitely.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, the Mad Catz controller.
Yeah, I like the one at the top, the Oni one. I think I used that for a little while because I really liked that whole brass and acid green thing it had going on.
It looks like the Puki sword.
It does, yeah.
But right now I'm preferring to rock around like I'm the White Power Ranger.
Yes, ready to call your White Tiger.
Yes. I've even got the wee flute. Maybe do 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 do.
Yeah, I liked me some Green Ranger. White Ranger was all right, but Green Ranger was where it was at.
Oh, bitch! I've been running around on top of it the entire time.
Yeah, because he got the Dragon Zord.
He did. That is one of my favorite Zords, but there's a new favorite. I can't believe that my favorite Megazord is one of the newer additions to the lore.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't think I have seen any of the Power Rangers content, basically, since... Right, I'm going to show my age now. And maybe Ninja Zords was the last thing I saw.
Well, the comic series is spectacular, right? And in the comics, and it's such a... Oh, okay. It's a fucking monk.
Yeah. So this quest is actually going to lead us to something really good. We will get the longbow out of this.
Okay. Yeah, so one of the real fucking tragedies of Jason David Frank no longer being with us is
of course, yeah.
He really was like the way that Power Rangers lore has gone recently. We are right on the cusp of a revival that would have heavily involved him, and I think it would have been his biggest role ever, honestly, because the
Yeah.
story is so good. But in the comics, there was a storyline called Shattered Grid.
Yeah,
Right.
I've heard of that actually. I think when you were still working at that place, that
Yeah.
was something that one of our mates was collecting at the time.
Yes, I was as well, actually.
I dread to think the because I dread to think the level if that list that order list for comics at that shop still exists in some form. The I imagine his backlog must be something.
Oh, you should have seen mine. I had a short box.
I probably had a fair few behind as well. I was getting the Bloodborne and Dark Souls ones.
Ah, so good. But yeah,
They were
so
good.
the Power Rangers story, the Shattered Grid. So basically, what the story was it's a multiverse, right? We're all familiar with the multiverse now, thanks Marvel.
Yeah, I wish
Ugh.
sometimes wish we weren't so familiar, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely multiversed out. I think if you went across the multiverse, you'd struggle to find a version of me that isn't tired of it by this point.
I think the only thing these days that's multiversal that I think I still enjoy is probably Rick and Morty, and that's because it uses the multiverse as a backdrop rather than a feature.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, like, multiverse just takes away stakes.
Yeah,
You know, like,
because theoretically infinite possibilities, including many of which you succeed.
yeah, like Tony Stark's dead, but there's an infinite
So
number of Tony
so
Starks that
look
aren't
over.
dead.
Yeah, so look over to your. Oh,
Can.
you're in combat. I was going to say look over to your right over the bay and look at your little picture because you should be able to start seeing the landscape soon.
All right, got him.
I actually really liked that they did that with a little picture that you could just swipe on and off.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Any more dickheads? Yes.
Oh, at least one.
I've gotten slightly better at the combat, but not much.
Well, I mean, you saved this peasant.
I've saved a fair few peasants, by the way. Quite well known amongst the peasants, Sam. But right, so Shattered Grid, it's the multiverse, but in this reality, they never freed Tommy from Rita,
Okay.
so he stays a bad guy, but he becomes so fucking powerful that he actually ends up killing her and just oh yeah, I think I see where I'm going. He
Yeah.
actually ends up killing her and taking over as Lord Draken,
Okay.
and he becomes like the biggest bad in all of the Power Rangers lore.
That's cool.
He kills most of his friends. He takes Kimberly in as and makes him his new like general. Gives her this incredible armor. It's so cool. It's like this pink and black version of her suit with her bow, and she's
Nice.
just like a proper ranger class now.
Hmm.
And yeah, he finds out about the morphin grid.
Hmm.
So every reality in the Power Rangers is all connected via the morphin grid. That's what lets every version of Power Rangers morph into whatever they are. So you know you've got the Mighty Morphin, you've got your Zeo, you've got your Time Police, whatever they
Ah,
are.
right. So it's the morphing force, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. It is a thing that exists across all realities that allows the Power
Right.
Rangers. Every time a Power Ranger morphs, it is tapping in to the power allowed by the morphing grid.
Right. So it's more of a kind of an ether type thing then, where it permeates all reality and you just draw upon it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It's the
Got you.
power of the mother crystals,
Yeah.
and yeah, pretty much that's it. So he finds out about this, and he finds out that you can essentially access the grid and then use it to go into another place that it is connected to. Right. So
Right.
he
So travel.
yeah, so he basically find what the fuck is all this?
So you can bow there.
Oh, how do I bow?
It's one of the swipes.
Ah, this one. Oh, hey little fellas.
Frogs. It's it's like when you made the fish happy
Oh, bye
by
buddies.
by bowing at the water and stuff.
I know a Final Fantasy character that would absolutely love that. But yeah, so he discovers that he can access the morphin grid and then use it to get to any of the realities that we are aware of, right? So I think let's say Zeo, right? So he uses the morphing grid. He goes to the Power Rangers Zeo reality, and he will kill all of the people there that are able to access the morphing grid, and he will take whatever it is that allows them to access the morphing grid.
Hmm.
And he's basically just going from reality to reality, pilfering anything that can help people access the grid. He wants to be the only
Aye,
one that can access it, because if he's the only one that can access it, he will be God.
aye, rules the universe.
Yeah, just the entire multiverse. I don't know where the fuck I'm going, but this is cool.
Yeah, like a lot of the shrines have these kind of like traversal things, and like it's like horizon climbing. There's like zero stakes involved,
Yeah,
but it's still cool because it's part of how you explore.
is this a place I've been? No.
I don't think so. No, it doesn't look as if it's filled in.
Awesome. So yeah, so he's accessing the morphing grid. So when he starts doing that,
Oh yeah,
Kimberly becomes his Ranger Slayer.
right.
So the name of the character that she's my favorite Power Ranger now is Ranger Slayer Kim.
Hmm.
And eventually he sends her to the Mighty Morphin timeline. And, you know, seeing all the old friends and seeing herself before any of this happened and seeing a version of Tommy that didn't succumb to the evil and is a good person gives her
Hmm.
that kind of change of heart. So she ends up joining, like, the mainline team.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the whole point of this, me telling you this, was look up the Grave Zord.
Right. Okay. That sounds gnarly.
Yeah, so the Grave Zord is Draken's Megazord, and he's just made it by taking all the best bits from Zords that he's destroyed.
Oh shit. Yeah.
That's cool as hell, isn't it?
Yeah. It is like he's gone full Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
He is grafted unto himself.
he is. He's went full Godfrey. He's not using any glamour, so you can see all the mismatched parts. It's a very cool idea.
It looks like a really advanced Digimon actually.
Think how good that would be if you're a wee guy, you're into Power Rangers, and they're like, all right, here's 5 different Megazord toys that you can buy, and then you can mash them all together to make one big Megazord. Just like, you know, you could do that with the old toys, only now it's the
Yeah.
Grave Zord, so you can have access to the series it's from, but then just start mashing bits together, and like, what? It's basically just the Kit Bash Zord.
Yeah, basically, it's it's the freestyle gunpla.
We have gone full
Right.
Kit Bash.
So see before you go all the way over here, right? So you go back to the start. Just under that arch is a marker,
Oh,
and you can literally hit R2 to go to the start of the shrine. It's a
awesome.
real cool quality of life thing. It's like
Huh.
it's like the do you want to turn in your quest in FF7 remake?
Oh yeah. Speaking of, Matt Oldman finally caved
Hmm.
and he started playing FF7R.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, he said he was going to wait until it was finished and just play it all at once, and then he just couldn't.
It's good.
Nah, I just got to into the PS5. He was a wee master racist for a while there, but the call of the console has came back to him. He's remembered his roots.
Yep.
So yeah, we're back on the console now, and yeah, he's been playing
Is
FF7R.
is that is that possibly because he's been bashing out Monster Hunter with you?
I think that has helped probably.
I think you think that's what's drawn him back in.
Well, do you know what it is? It's the exact same reason that it doesn't matter what your preference of console is when you're a wee guy. It only matters what your friends have because that's who you're going to be playing with. He
Sure,
was
yeah,
just like, he was like, well, you're not going to get a PC, and if I want to play games with you, I need to get a fucking console, don't I? So
yeah.
he went and got a
Because
console.
even if you're not a multiplayer person, which I am absolutely not,
No.
um, even if you're not a multiplayer person, like your friends having the console did matter because like you would be playing the same games. So like you would like for example like in 1997, you'd be hoping that your mates picked up a PlayStation so that you could talk about FF7.
Yeah, yeah, and do you know what, man? None of mine did. I didn't meet other Final Fantasy. I genuinely didn't meet other Final Fantasy fans until I was in high school.
Yeah. Like I was kind of late to the party for FF7. I think if I remember right, I played it in '98, and the reason that I know that is because um, I got into, I got, I got, I got into like the PlayStation round about the time that 8 was released,
Ah, yeah.
and I'm like, oh right, yeah, Final Fantasy 8. I played Final Fantasy
Shit.
3 Red 6, um, on the Super Nintendo. That was that was a game. What did Final Fantasy do next? We're at 8 now, right? What happened in 7?
And then you went back and you went, oh my God.
Yeah, and the other kind of big factor of behind that was, of course, didn't get a PlayStation 1 at release. I got an N64,
Mm.
and I was busy playing Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time and Banjo around about that point.
Look at this
I,
Nintendo dude.
yeah, I totally was. Like, see, up until I did get my hands on like a PS1 to play 7 and 8, um, I was a I was a total Nintendork, and it was and it goes right back to when I started because my first console was a Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Because like
But like
I had
from
consoles before the PlayStation, but the first one that I was properly mine and I could play it and like understand what I was doing was the PlayStation. So I think that's where my real attachment comes to.
yeah, and from PS1 onwards, like when the PS2 hit, that was it. Like I did get like true to form, I did get the Nintendo GameCube when it came out, but PS2 completely and utterly eclipsed it.
I think PS2 just completely and utterly eclipsed everything for everyone.
Yeah,
That truly was like I think the only other console that's came close to doing what the PS2 did was the Wii in terms of
yeah,
like it was most people had a PS2 even if they didn't really play games because it was just like so fucking convenient to have this at the time that was a full media player because it could do
hmm
CDs, DVDs.
and that was like think about the games that we got on PS2, just like plucked out of thin air. You've got FF10 and 12, Kingdom Hearts, God of War, Devil May Cry 1 to 3.
Silent Hill 2,
Yeah, Silent Hill 2.
Resi 4.
Yep, absolutely. So there's like the amount of stuff that that came out and was part of our formative years of gaming. Of course, it was astronomical.
I feel like, everybody's going to say this about when they grew up, like, it was the best time to grow up. But no, man, like, for real though, gaming, being able to see the entire cycle of pre-PlayStation to where PS5 is now.
And can I just say, like, see right now, the sort of this the my kind of gaming life right now, if you want to call it that, because we've just recently got our PS5, and the first proper game I've played on it has been a Final Fantasy game. And because that Final Fantasy game has been Final Fantasy 16, by the way, chat, I finished it.
Oh, that means we can talk about it tonight.
It means we can talk about it tonight, because I really want to talk about it. But I'm going to talk about it in I'm going to say, can we talk about it in as spoiler-free terms as we possibly can? I'm totally up for discussing like the characters at length, because the characters are the biggest draw of the entire game.
Y'all are killing me.
But we'll have people present who might not have finished it. I know one definitely hasn't.
It's getting to be. It's getting to me to be their fault. I'm just gonna say it. This shit has been out for a while now. I've almost beat it twice.
And after beating it, I did. I wanted to ask, like, when we did start talking about it this week, I wanted to ask, see, when you finished it, did you do what I did and go to the battle stone and do all the boss fights greatest hits?
No, I didn't. Did you do all the chronoliths?
I didn't do all the chronoliths. I did, like I say, once I'd beaten it, all I wanted to do was revisit the most epic parts of the game. So I went back to like Drake's Fang, and I went back to the Crystalline Dominion fight.
No, like most of I knew I was doing another run of the game for Final Fantasy mode, so
yeah,
it was very much just like all right, well, anything that I want to see again, I will see, and I'll skip all the cutscenes that I don't care about and rewatch all the ones that I do, and it'd be nice to see what it's like on harder difficulty. It is definitely harder.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the arcade mode, which is what I did. I just went in the arcade mode and did like a bunch of the Icon fights and Typhon, of course, back to back, just to experience that again, because these were the things that stuck in my head the most when I was going through it, aside from the story.
I just got gassed.
You did. Oh no, it's a Tengu.
Can I have the antidote to the poison I just sniffed, please? Alright, shitey samurai.
I believe it happens to be inside him. You have to cut him open to get it.
Oh.
This be a duel, sir.
So dramatic. Ow. Dickhead. Holy shit, he's got the moves.
He do. But you got the revive.
I've also got some moves of my own. Although I'll tell you what would help. Stone stance.
Yeah, that would be good.
Parry. Oh, big kick.
Oh.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
Well, the blue.
This bitch got
the
supers?
He got he got some moves for sure. The blue. Let's see, when you get a blue cross,
Yeah.
that means you can parry it. The red ones are the only ones you can't block.
Right, okay.
But the blue X's you can parry, but it needs to be a parry. It can't be a block.
I got this bitch now.
Remember, you've got your own supers. You've got your wind slash and things like that. Which I think is triangle circle.
It is. Whoa, I like that. But it uses up resolve.
It does.
Oh no, my stance is too slow. I can do that shit too.
Oh, good finish.
Yeah, cinematic.
Call that one the shish kebab.
Have I actually just turned into Batman now? Gav is love, Gav is life. You're fucking right, yes.
You're absolutely right.
Gav might be one of my top 10 Final Fantasy characters in general now.
Yeah, and like one of the things that, you know, obviously we're absolutely gonna gush about the cast of this game, but the in general, like it does sting a bit that we never really got much party time with them.
Yeah.
And like they weren't like controllable characters. It was just our boy Clive.
Yeah. Alright, let's head back to town and do some shopping.
Yes,
finally...
you've got gifts too.
Oh dude, I've got so much shit.
Patreon has been the Patreon is active.
Oh shit, I've got a lot of gifts. 100 supplies? Holy shit. 200 supplies?
And again.
300
and again.
supplies? Wow. Well, swordsmith first. Let's see if we can get the katana up. Oh, we can. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Bang. Katana 5 acquired. Jesus, that is a lot of iron, steel, and gold. My god.
But you will pick that up, like clearing settlements and doing missions and stuff.
Yeah. Alright, armor next.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is in here? We've got the bowyer and the armorer here.
Yeah, maybe the bowyer could sort you something with your new bow.
We'll see. But first I want to update my traveller's attire, because I've been wearing that a lot off stream.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, there we go.
There we go, maxed
Traveller
out.
5.
And it looks smooth.
Yes, it does. Ronin attire, what does that give me? Melee damage, enemy detection speed, leaving the pump. Nah, okay, Samurai Clan.
And the straw hat doesn't look as shit.
We're up
Look at
there,
that
Samurai
helmet.
Clan. Oh, man.
Look at that swoosh.
I've still got enough to upgrade this. Might as well. Awesome. And the last thing that I need is not you. Where's the bowyer?
The bowyer. Are they not up near the? They're not like near the front.
Are they? I don't fucking remember.
I think they're on the other side of that tower thing.
What are they doing segregated from the other merchants? Do they smell? Are they a bit of a dick? Oh, I used all my supplies.
Ah, right. Yeah, we're just short on supplies, that's all.
Ah, it's fine, it's fine. Right, the other place that I wanted to go and check out was somewhere that had a trapper, because I have quite a lot of stuff that I can get from the trapper.
Yeah, because you said you had quite a lot of, and you said you had quite a lot of flowers as well for this merchant fella.
Yeah, let's check out the merchant first, see if we can get something cool. What should we look
Aye.
at? Let's look at hits. Yeah, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright. I like what we've got so far. Armor dies. I just don't like that armor in general.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it either.
I mean, that's
I like
quite
that
cool.
purple.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take that. That's a good one. Sword kits, what you got? Yeah, no, I'm not super mad for most of this.
So most of the really cool sword kits you just find anyway.
Oh well, let's just get stuff to spend these flowers. So sword kits, we'll take that. Bow, we've got them all. Armor, I've got enough for one, so let's take this one that makes this red. And I just got a trophy called Slay.
Nice.
Yes. And over on the trapper, ranged capacity, quick fire capacity.
Aye. The longbow capacity is for heavy arrows. It is terrible. You want to upgrade that as soon as you possibly can.
I'll just take that advice and upgrade it to fuck it maximum. Why not?
Yeah. So that's you up to. What was it? Was it 8? Was the top for heavy arrows? That's how bad it is.
Yeah, but I get 16 regular arrows,
Yeah.
and I've got enough to get an extra wind chime if I want it, and I'll take it just because I can.
Okay.
Excellent. Right, that's everything finally spent. So now it's time to do some exploring. Let's head over to Komoda Town.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
And there's a red there's Komoda Town. I don't know if it's occupied. We might be able to. I was going to say that is still unlockable because you get your stance progress if you got that, and then you could spend your points.
All right.
Or if Komoda Town is occupied, you might be able to get it there.
Right, what we'll do, we'll go to Komoda Town, see if it's occupied. If it is, we'll get it there. If it's not, we'll look back, clear that other territory that seems to have just popped up in that big dead zone in the map that I hadn't done anything with.
Yeah, like as you progress through the game, you will get other Mongol camps popping up, and places do get retaken.
Ooh.
So it does, like, the map does evolve in the acts that follow.
Okay, so it's not like Assassin's Creed take the fort and it's yours forever.
Not necessarily. Like, it is scripted which ones go, but there are some that do get reoccupied again.
Right. Well, just to finish off the Final Fantasy chat, let's to give the spoiler-free review. I think it's probably best to take it section by section, as in like the characters as a whole, and not go too detailed on any one particular character, because spoilers everywhere, spoilers. So overall, for me, I feel like this is easily one of the strongest protagonists that we've had in a Final Fantasy game, especially recently. Supporting cast also exceptionally strong. Problem being, we don't get to actually actively control any of them, so it does
Yeah.
give you a bit of a detachment from them as characters. But the writing is strong enough to give them a sense of identity, and
Yeah.
I quite like them.
Well, they are the support. Like in FF16, they are the supporting cast. In most other Final Fantasy games, they are part of the team.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, like, to a degree, you do feel like characters like Gav and Jill and Otto and Byron are all part of the team, but they don't necessarily feel like that because they're not within your control at any point.
Yeah, I
And
almost felt like
and I,
when they were with you in combat, they were largely just there to tank, like, mobs so that you weren't overwhelmed.
I mean, do you know what I think would have worked? And I think that, you know, this is maybe an idea that they could do in the future. Is see if they had like a party of characters, and each member of that party of characters could have become the new dominant for one of the icons.
Oh, and then you got to assign.
Yep, and then you got to assign, and like there maybe would have been like a little bit of bleed over of abilities in between characters, but you could have done that around how those characters bonded.
Oh, made it a bit Fire Emblem-y.
Yeah, made it a little bit Fire Emblem-y, a bit Persona-y.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I think this might be where the next game's headed, because that does sound pretty dope,
Yeah,
and like a good
and
evolution of what we've got.
and there is a bit of news that actually supports this.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard about this, but Square Enix have recently, I believe they recently filed a patent for a game for an algorithm type that will
look at these
allow
guys.
players it will allow players to train NPCs.
Where the fuck are you guys going? That would be very cool.
So like NPCs that learn from your own habits in battle and adapt, not necessarily to complement, but they adapt as a result of it. And that to me is quite interesting.
It has potential.
But I hope that it's used in terms of like, you know, like if you imagine like that's going to be, imagine like that's something that they implement in like FF7 Rebirth or something, where they're like, you know, like depending on what characters you have in the party, most often you might have more combo attacks with that character. Because like they have
Yeah.
shown that there's going to be combo attacks.
True, true. Yeah, I don't know. I guess with the FF7 for me, it's clouded by like personal biases because I already have an understanding of how each character kind of feels about each other in my head.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like for example, like I would just automatically assume that Barrett and Nanaki have more synergy than Nanaki and Vincent.
Of course, because ever since he was a wee lad, all he ever wanted
Was a talking dog best friend. I said, God, you can take my arm. Jeez.
I couldn't not do it. I'm sorry. But but with the supporting cast of characters, even the side characters, the characters that can be argued that are side characters,
Surprise, motherfucker.
some of these side characters have evoked more of a response in me than some main party characters in other Final Fantasy games, and that is saying something.
And we're not naming names, but Van sucks.
But like, you know what I mean. Like, you know, people who have gone through, you'll know what I mean. Like, there are characters in this game that, you know, through the time and the dialogue that you spend with them, you do become invested in.
I don't think there's any characters in this that I actively dislike.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, see, the thing is, right? I don't think there was a character that I disliked from like a writing standpoint. There were characters that I like detested from a character standpoint, but like because they were written to be detestable and therefore were successful. Like for instance, it's not. I'm gonna keep it as unspoilery as possible. See the Undying? Did they not just frustrate you?
A little. The Akashic stuff frustrated me because they could have done a lot more with it. And what about Gav? Gav's an absolute legend in whatever form you put him in. Also, fantastic. Gav's here. That means my whole other topic of discussion's about to open up as we finish FF. Fabulous. Right, let's just start opening up some better combat now. So,
But yeah, like definitely one of the highlights was within the supporting cast was Gav, because I mean, like he generally his way was to try and stay out of trouble, and it never really happened. And but the thing is, like he was he was a scout. He's good at it, and it's one like he played that role super well, and he felt like an expert, so it was kind of cool to hear about what he was doing, and the way that his character was performed, that there's something about his accent that's just so disarming, like that wee Geordie lad.
it was great because obviously, like, I've just spent a lot of time around a Geordie, and he would say things, and I'd be like, oh, I remember hearing her say that, or he would say things, and I'd be like, I've got no idea what the fuck that means, so I would message her and be like, Jenna, what are clobbers?
I bet that gave her a laugh.
I hope so, yeah. Right, I want perfect dodge.
Your clothes, your clubbers.
I assumed that out of context, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Oh, moon stance, let's go.
Yeah, moon stance is quite cool. And it is specifically intended for the big chunky fellas.
Yeah, big lad stance.
Yep. Anti-big lad stance.
Anti-big lad. What does it say? If you kill an enemy while concealed by a smoke bomb?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's your little bonus objective.
Any enemies left? Doesn't seem like it.
Oh, it's you're out of the encounter area.
Oh, shit.
You've encountered a bear.
Yep. Sure have.
Yeah, longbow takes a long time to wind up.
Oh my god. Bruh. Oh,
You're
another
gonna
bear! 2 bears! The situation has been made worse by the addition of yet more bears. Where's the other bear go? Oh my god, what are these cocaine bears? Why are they so arrow resistant? Ow. Put me down. Put me down. Not like that. Ow. Bitch!
Oh
What is
no,
this?
it's like
Is
it's like the Revenant.
It's like fucking Zangief, you're just using command grabs.
Is this bear in fact Kuma?
Oh, there was another asshole. Awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
was that through his mouth?
Yep, that was right through the roof of the mouth. That was great.
Oh, that's just excessive, Jen. That's a human being's face, my
When you
guy.
look, at least you're looking him in the eye when you're stabbing him in the face.
Loopholes.
Yeah.
Uncle can't be mad on a technicality. We love it. Yeah, so characters in this FF are really strong. Locations and environments, not so much.
Yeah, locations and environments kind of flat. I mean, there were some interesting rock formations that we got to
The
walk through.
the environment was cooler as a way to show the destructive capabilities of icons without being necessarily interesting to be in or around.
Yeah, the like absolutely, and like the fact that you go to places which have been changed by events earlier in the game, like the bits of Dalmekia that have been clearly affected by your Titan and Shiva having a throwdown at the start of the game.
My number one most wanted thing didn't happen.
Oh no.
Maybe in the DLC, but I'm still holding out hope that we will find out that Valisthea is actually like it's what shit.
Are you thinking Proto Ivalice?
Yes, Ivalice, thank you.
Yeah.
I really want it to come out that like Valisthea is just ancient Ivalice. Oh, it's fucked.
That would be sick.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Like not everything everything is quite kind of similar, and especially with the way things end off. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the ending to completely avoid spoilers. I don't even give an emotional response in case anybody can infer anything from it. I will just say the
Okay.
game has an ending, and I have seen it.
Yes. Me too.
It also has a post-credit scene, but it's a very long slog to get to it.
Yes, but you can pull down on the analog stick to speed up the credits after a certain point, which I found out.
What?
You can. I think after a certain point in the credits, you can hold down on the analog stick and it scrolls through it faster. I realized just how long the credits were seeming to be, and I thought, right, okay, I'm not going to necessarily skip it in case it does skip any post-credit scene, but I did move some buttons and found out that it could scroll.
Dude, the outro credits in that game are so long that by the time they are finished, you could have played a Kojima game. Start to finish.
So on from environments. I think next thing to talk about is world design. Valisthea as a world. How do we feel about that?
It feels more like a continent than a world.
Yeah.
And I actually think it is a continent. Actually, like they're talking about Storm. I know that Storm is considered like a continent or an area.
Yeah, Storm and Ash are the two main continents.
Yeah, so is it just two continents on this world and that's it? Because if it is, then it feels a bit small.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a fun place to be in, but I don't think it's going to leave the same impression. Like, Valisthea is cool, but it's not dethroning Ivalice as the absolute granddaddy of Final Fantasy, like, worlds and just general, like, lores. Gaia and Spira are all, like, they are so cool. I just don't feel like, like, when you think about these games, like, think about FF10, right? I could say things to you like the Macalania Woods, Kilika Temple, just all of Josie, the
Yeah.
Mien High roads,
I
and you know exactly
jump
where
into
I'm talking about.
jump into 12 Rabanastre
Oh yeah, yep, that's right.
and Giza
Giza,
Plains
yep, Giza, Dalmascan
as
Esterstans.
Zertanen Caverns.
Oh yeah, they were good. You got the Great
Yep.
Crystal,
hmm
but then
Yeah.
ask me about the same thing uh, in 16, and I will tell you that there are locations in the game. Most of them are called Drake's something, but I couldn't really tell you the difference between Drake's breath, Drake's fang, and Drake's arse.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know. It just felt like it didn't have any of those huge like. It just didn't have those places in the game that I'm going to think back and be like, oh my god, do you remember like this moment? It had, don't get me wrong though, it did have moments in the game which I
Yeah.
think are equally as important as memorable locations, right?
Yeah.
To go back through the old Final Fantasy roster. When I say moments, I'm talking things like Vivi versus Black Waltz 3.
Yeah.
You know, like that was such a cutscene, man. You were going through that whole thing like this is the hype train. I'm on it. I love it.
Yep.
There are other instances of that, just little ones where a character will do something in one of the games, and you will remember that small action as if it was one of the huge scripted actions. You know, like
Yeah.
even little things like for me, seeing Nanake try to smile
Yeah.
was just such a great beat, such a great comedic moment, and it just captured the spirit of those characters so well that I'll just be like, oh, that was a great moment in the game. And this one had
Lab
it,
rat dog.
yeah, stuff like that. And I felt like this one had like there are some moments with Torgal that I'll never forget
Yeah.
because they are so cool. The Garuda fight specifically has a moment with Torgal. So it wasn't lacking in those instances, those moments where you're like, "Holy shit, this is insane!" I'll hold this as one of the key moments of like a good Final Fantasy experience for a long time. But it also really didn't. It didn't have the locations to go with it, so it's a bit one-sided in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, like as I say, I think like the environments were definitely lacking for me. The world itself, it was fairly flat apart from its landmarks. So like the where the world really shone was not in the world itself as it was designed, but the lines that were drawn on it in terms of the politics.
Yeah,
Like the factions that were placed in the world that populated it, that's what made the world good.
yeah, and it felt like a lot of them had more, I guess, impact than say something like the Banga Hunters in 12. They just felt like they were there as a comedy relief beat, but they didn't actually have any impact on anything. Whereas, you know, as soon as somebody says like the Sambrek army are heading to like, or like Walud are heading somewhere, you're like, oh shit, there's going to be some fighting.
Yeah, and like over like the course of the start of the game, like when they're introducing all these factions and you've got the active time lore to support you, you know, if you do take the time to like, you know, read over it, like if you're into like sort of political intrigue and stuff, like if you do take the time to like read over it, you know, there is some value in, you know, in being able to keep up with it, because it, you know, it does more than a couple of times. It kind of does it, you know, it's trying to do a Game of Thrones thing, and some of that Game of Thrones thing is things are completely shameless. Like they literally they have a guy who's super big.
Yeah.
Right. They have they have a king who's kind of corrupt, and they have like a rival king who is like a complete badass, and Yeah, it's like you can literally point at George R.R. and point at 16 in some places and draw some pretty clean comparisons.
See, I'm gonna try and keep this as spoiler free as possible, but see the other child,
Yes,
Joffrey.
absolutely. And of course that it almost like you can draw quite a good parallel between the Duchess and Cersei as well.
Yeah, except one of them. I mean, neither of them got a really satisfying ending. One of them was just kind of out of nowhere, and the other one was like, "Oh, right, well, I guess that's happening." I'll let you
Yeah.
decide which one's which
Okay.
if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
At least you didn't have like a wine glass to drop.
Yeah.
Genbu's
Genbu's
darkness.
darkness.
Cool. But yeah, no, overall, I think the game was combat. Like that's another thing to consider as well, because the game is completely centered around its new combat mechanics. And
For sure.
as I said before, and I will probably say many more times, I feel as though for a Final Fantasy game, absolutely revolutionary. Nothing like it in the series. A lot of people will be upset, but I
Hmm.
think an equal amount of people will appreciate having something more modern and more
Hmm.
responsive. However,
Hmm.
as a DMC5 Platinum trophy holder, I can tell you that shit's kind of weak.
Yeah, so I have some takes on the combat and on the gameplay design, if you like.
Mm.
I have some takes on that. So I think that what's kind of important to remember, and I think if you go in with this mindset, you're probably going to have a slightly better time. Is that Final Fantasy 16 is not an RPG.
Oh yeah, I'm listening.
It's not an RPG. It is a character action game,
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
and if you go into expecting there to be RPG elements, you will find that there are not very many of them, and you will be disappointed.
Hmm.
But if you go in accepting the fact that it is an action game and that is what you're there for, you're going to have a much better time because that is the case. The everything, all the kind of game uh, like elements to making your character like what 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 accessories you equip Clive with, what abilities you put on him. That's just up to your preference, and it is to streamline your attempts at action gameplay as far as possible.
Mm.
There's no like a lot of these RPG elements, unfortunately, that have been ripped out is well, I'm going to come back to that, but like a lot of these elements that have been removed for the moment, let's say, are a lot of the elements that made Final Fantasy what it was. And like removing elemental weaknesses, removing status effects, removing a good portion of the magic, and that sort of thing's fine if you're operating in sort of strategic RPG type territory. But because this is an action game, it needs to be streamlined. It needs to get you to the action as quickly as possible because that's the gameplay loop.
Yeah, I just don't know
And
if the gameplay, like if the combat was varied enough. Like DMC5, right? Holy shit.
yeah,
Dante
DMC5 was amazing.
Dante, you will never unlock all of his secrets, man. I've watched videos of people doing that game on the hardest difficulty, and they are doing like they are styling on the bosses, man. These
Yeah.
guys are making it look like they programmed the game, and the boss has just been nerfed to not respond. But they are just—it's insane.
Because Dante has 4 stances in that game. On the sword, I think I maybe used 2.5 of them, and then you've got like the other weapons on top of that as well.
Yeah, and you've got one that is for like mostly offensive, one for ranged, one for counters and combat control. One of them's like,
And one of them, and the last one's speed.
I am speed. Yeah, so it gives you a whole host of different combat options and variety. In every encounter, you feel like you've got the answer in your arsenal. And the same with
Yeah.
Nero. You know, you have this option to switch out the arms, and when you get ones that work for you and you know how to use them, then you feel really comfortable with them. And even with the V, you know, once you figure out how all that bullshit works, it's a really good time, and it's all totally different.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it was just like, I have got my 6 moves that I'm going to cycle through. 2 of them are big hits, 4 of them are wee hits, 2 of them are counter hits.
And on each panel, my circle button does something different.
And the thing is, the circle,
Oh dear.
the difference in the circles and the different actual abilities that you unlock per icon, I felt like I used 2 of them. And I only use one of. I use 3 of them, but I only use 2 of them incredibly rarely.
What was like towards the end of your game, once you had like all the icons unlocked and stuff, and you were mopping up like all your side quests and hunt boards and things like that? What was your iconic loadout?
It's okay to talk about these because the icons were all in the trailer, so it's fine.
They are all revealed, yes.
So I started the game very heavily just staying with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I unlocked quite a few more of them and kind of stayed with Phoenix. Just swapping in like other one, like the big hits. Like for a while, my go-to was to open with the Stinger, gather up
Yeah.
as many little enemies as possible, and then unload one of the big hits.
Yeah.
And then later on, the game gets a little bit harder, and I started to encounter the Chronoliths.
Yeah.
And once I encountered them, where's my horse? There is. Once I encountered them and actually understood how each of them worked, I started to mix it up a wee bit more and added in more Bahamut stuff. And then towards the end, I was kind of bored of like fighting jobbers and then getting to bosses. So I just had a loadout that was entirely Odin based.
Right, yeah.
And just started Zantetsuken level 5 in my way through the game.
Yeah, so my final loadout was basically I kind of got sick of having 2 dodges. Because like, for a while it was, you know, I was using Shiva quite a lot. Like towards the end of the game, and I ended up with I did go back to Shiva for the end boss because AoEs, man. But my loadout towards the end game was Titan, Odin, Bahamut.
Yeah, now Titan is one that, now that I'm in New Game Plus and the combat's much harder, that I'm using a lot. Like, I'd probably say
Yeah.
Titan's my main now.
Yeah. I like
and
to aura.
The Aura is so good, and the actual effects you get from it, because it is just like a huge, huge stagger. It's just,
Yep.
it feels so good to land. The sound effects that you get out of the controller are exceptional.
Yep.
I'm even getting to a point now where I'm using Torgal properly.
Yeah, yeah. Like with a good portion of the game, like I unfairly ignored Torgal because like heals and buff potions were kind of more important. But and I just like I kept them handy, just like almost like Estus flask on hand. But like see like, one thing that's really good about Torgal is you can actually chuck him into combos. You can have him attack at the moments where Clive is recovering from an attack. And if you get the timing right, you can almost completely, like, continuously pummel an enemy until it is dead.
Do you know what it was that actually unlocked it for me and got me using them properly? I was showing Sandy the game, and I let him try it, and he was playing it with the Rings of Timely, whatever.
Yeah.
And obviously, as somebody that's familiar with action games, I look down on those with sheer disgust.
Yep.
Look all the way down the full length of the nose. I even extend my nose a little bit so I can look down it even further at this affront to my combat prowess. But when he was using it, I got a chance to see how the game, like how the AI utilised Torgal.
Yeah.
And that gave me an idea of how you are supposed to actually use them. But seeing that kind of made me think, I wonder if you are actually supposed to start the game with the rings as a way of the game showing you how combat can flow optimally.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a case to be made for that. Like, the Ring of Timely Assistance, isn't it, Torgal's one?
I think so, yeah.
I think that was the only one I ever put on, and like the reason I did was because like I read the description of it and I was like, oh right, so does this just improve Torgal's AI? And I'm like, right, okay, let's put it on and see what happens. It turns out it doesn't improve his AI; it just turns him into Taz.
Yeah. Speed.
He is all over the enemies at all times, and like, and the thing was, right, as I went through the game, like usually, the one criticism I have of the combat later on is that it does get a bit formulaic in the sense that it is one big guy and a bunch of jobbers makes up quite a lot of encounters. But I found that if I just focused fire on the biggest guy there, Torgal would mop up the rest.
Either that, or they would get caught in the collateral from your moves.
Exactly, yeah. They would get caught in the collateral, or Torgal would just like mop them up relentlessly with whoever happened to be partnered with us at the time.
Like I say, the more people that you have in your party, it just feels like they are there to tank, so that you can focus fire on the actual threat in the battle. Which I'm not mad about, but at the same time, it's like, could I not have, like, could they not do a wee bit more? I kept finding myself thinking, like, what the fuck is X doing right now? And then one big move that shows they are still part of the battle would go by. It's like off to the side, and I'd be like, all right, okay, they are still here.
So, like, a way that they could have done this a little better, and I'm gonna like kind of call back to DMC here a little bit, is that how with the DMC move repertoire, that there are a couple ones that carry over to like FF, like the Stinger, which is like almost the same buttons. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure so it's the exact same move too.
Yep, exactly. Same move, same buttons. It's all familiar territory. But like, you could have one thing that I thought was lacking for me was the ability to. I mean, you could kind of do it with some of the icons, but it would have been cool to just be able to do it on demand. Was launch and chase.
Yeah.
So like, see in Devil May Cry, you can launch and juggle enemies, of course, and it is a huge feature of the game. But you can uppercut enemies into the air, but you can also zip up after them and chase them and keep hitting them. If Clive was able to do maybe a little bit more of that, I think that would have improved the combat just by tweaking that a little bit. I think they could have improved it even more.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel like Final Fantasy could do with a little bit of Kingdom Hearts DNA and just start throwing in some more aerial.
Yeah,
Because you are grounded for most of it.
Kingdom Hearts went a little bit too far that way. I thought like Sora became just a Yoda-like figure where he was just like 360 and through the air at various angles all times.
I don't think I've ever heard the comparison of Sora to Yoda before, but now that you've said it, it's not wrong.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time in the air.
He does. He does just
Those
spin.
for someone with big shoes. Someone with shoes that big, they don't stay on the ground for very long.
Dude, I bought boots from Asda a few months ago, and they could only be described as Sora-ish.
So we got Bebop's loadout in the comments as well. Rama Ifrit Garuda. So that's magic, ground, air, which is good. That's pretty good. I kind of wish I'd spent more time with Garuda, to be honest, because I feel like that would maybe solve my anti-air problem.
I'll tell you exactly why I didn't stick with Garuda. See, I've got Garuda now because the mid-boss fight stagger is really good, but originally I didn't use because I was really invested in the super moves for each one, because you want to live the power fantasy, right? So why would you not want
for
the
sure,
power
yeah.
of Phoenix? But Garuda's one is absolute dog shit because you put it down, it hits everything on the screen, but it also obscures all of it. You might as well just turn the fucking TV. You might as well turn the TV off for 30 seconds. You can't see shit.
But like for the most part, like the supers for each icon, with maybe the exception of Garuda, they were all pretty good.
Yeah, no, they're all pretty good. Well, yeah, they're alright. No major complaints. I'm more disappointed with the actual icon to icon of circle ability. I say, I feel like I use one of them for 90% of my first run, and now in my second run, I'm basically only using Titan.
So, I don't know if this is controversial to say, but fair enough, we did get a dodge with R1, and that dodge, sidestepped us in any direction we wanted. It didn't really matter which direction you pushed, because if you got a precision dodge, you got a precision dodge, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been nice to have a lateral dash that covered a little bit of ground, regardless of what icon you had on, and just even just make it an Ifrit ability.
You kinda do with X and square. There's a kind of pseudo stinger.
Yeah.
Lunge.
I mean, yeah, the lunge. That's like the underpowered stinger. But I would have liked it without an attack.
Right, just like a movement option.
Yeah, comparing it to Kingdom Hearts again, like the slide or air slide, where you just dash in a direction. And I figure they could it could have been good. It could have been, make it an Ifrit thing. Make yourself if when you master it, you can coat yourself in fire while doing it or whatever.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Maybe in the DLC.
Yeah, and DLC does appear to be on the table now. Yoshi P, I believe, has said that he is confident that he's confident that people want more out of this world already, and they're I think they're in the kind of conceptualizing stages for it just now. So it's not coming anytime soon, but they're looking into it.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of mention in the game, not a lot, but there was some pretty pointed mention in the game of a lost icon. It would be cool to explore that.
Yeah, I think it would, and what I think would also be quite good to explore would be maybe the like the Northlands, the sort of blighted Northlands, where
Yeah.
we might actually get some more mountains.
Oh yeah, into the Blightlands would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe there's a new, like a new magical source that's popped up there.
Well, imagine like if there are certain creatures in the world that use magic, and with the crystals no longer providing just aether and magic to the world, there would be a shift in even the ecology. Like behemoths would become even more of a threat, really, because they've now got access to even more food sources that can't defend themselves adequately anymore because they've lost their primary defense or offense mechanisms.
Aye, it starts to become. I mean, like, yeah, you could find some room for a story there where the world looks as if it's going to become the monsters world. Because now we don't have, as you say, we don't have magic to defend ourselves.
What the fuck happened there?
This is a really, really awkward transition by the looks of things.
That was weird. Speaking of awkward transitions, I'm happy to leave Final Fantasy there until we can have a much more in-depth discussion about things.
Yes.
And just say that. Do you want to rate it? Do you want to give it your out of 10?
So I'm not sure I can yet. I maybe need to have a bit more mellowing time on it because what I want to say is that for me, as a game, like I had an amazing time playing it, but there are a lot of elements of the game that I can be critical about. There's a lot of things that if they had included in it, it would have been so much better than it was. There's a lot of missed potential in FF16, and it has a slight problem with its identity as a Final Fantasy game because of what has been removed in favour of action gameplay.
Yeah.
However, as an experience, it ranks as one of the best Final Fantasy experiences that I've had.
Yeah, I could see that.
And like that's how I think I'm going to describe it to people from now on, is like, it's not necessarily the best. It's not necessarily the best of games, but it's one of the best gaming experiences you can hope to have if you're invested in it.
I think if I had to really, push it down just now, it may change in future after I beat Final Fantasy mode and have more time with it. But I think right now for me is probably objectively a 6, emotionally an 8. So I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I would say I would be about the same. I think that the gaming experience that I kind of want to compare it to most and because I have a lot of the same complaints about it that I do about 16, was Horizon Zero Dawn, which to me is the most 7 out of 10 game a game can possibly be.
Okay.
But the FF16 I think was slightly better than that, so I'll give it 7.5.
All right, fair enough. The trend of you being slightly more generous than me continues.
Maybe, but like I did like, you know, I kind of run the gamut of emotions with with FF16. I had moments where I was like pissing myself laughing with, like, you know, something one of the characters had said. There were moments where I was just like hanging there, just like open mouthed at like what was going on. There were points that I literally said like, "What?" at my screen. There was points where like I was like just utterly blown away. Some of the boss fights, particularly the late and final boss, had my heart in my mouth almost the entire time. And I did the game on more than one occasion. The game did make me weep.
Yeah, there was a few moments that got me.
There were a few moments that did get me quite sad, quite upset.
Shout out to Byron.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like all sorts of emotions happening, and like, is that not what I want from a Final Fantasy game in the end? Like once all else is said and done, am I not wanting, you know, a great experience and, you know, like to feel a whole range of things while playing this game? Yeah, I think it's succeeded in that.
The thing for me, you son of a bitch with the arrows. The thing for me when talking about the characters and the emotion and the overall experience, it does just boil down to, do I care about these characters? Yes. Because
yes,
they are well,
absolutely.
They are well written. I therefore care about them, and because I care about them, things that happen impact me a lot more. Cut back to FF15. Actually, this is a fairly good comparison, right? So there is a character in 16 that loses an eye, and when that happens, it's like a huge thing. It's like a big deal, and you're like, I don't know about you, but I was like, I wanted vengeance. I just wanted to know he was going to be okay. That kind of thing. Cut to their Final Fantasy 15. There's a character that just goes fucking blind, like full on fucking blind. And when that happened, I was like, oh fuck. I just mean you don't have to see the bullshit that's going on here. I still have to deal with it. But like I said, the difference is, like, I just didn't give a shit about that character. So when he went blind, full on blind, I was just like, all right, that's the thing that happened. That's in the story.
Yep. And because like the game is so story driven, you spend a lot of time with these characters, and there's a lot of time spent painstakingly like endearing them to you. I enjoy, like, he was played as comic relief, but I really liked Goots.
Yes and no.
I thought it was fun as comic relief. Like, he, you know, like being this huge guy, but being a total softie. And
Did you feel represented?
well, I mean, I like to think I'm slightly more intelligent than Goots is,
Definitely,
'cause-
definitely.
yeah, because he was not a smart man.
No, he definitely seemed like he might have a favourite flavour of crayon.
Yep.
He's gone through
But,
the entire Crayola menu. He knows them all.
But like the part of the reason that I liked him was because like of the couple of quests that you got with him, and that's that's a case for a lot of like side characters. Like when you experience them through the quests, it endears you to them. You spend a lot more time with them. You see Clive talking to them a lot more, and you hear what they have to say, and you get invested. Hopefully,
Just talking about it, I think one of the things that made the characters in this game a lot more likable was that they didn't always wait their turn. There was a lot of situations. I'll give you an example. There's one section that I've just replayed in my replay run where you and one of your main companions encounter somebody who has previously been a massive dick,
yes.
and that massive dick says a really dickish thing to one of the side characters or about one of the side characters, and they just ram a sword right in their face. And it's like,
Yep.
that is exactly the response that if I was that person, would have probably had in that moment. And I'm glad that they didn't just stand back and take it so that the main character could have their moment.
They didn't just sort of sort of grit their teeth and grunt, and
Yeah.
it was like played out in like a sort of anime camera angle. No, stab in the face.
It was very much like a you talk shit about me, you fuck around, you find out.
Yeah. And yeah, not shy about the gore. Definitely the goriest Final Fantasy game.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of moments, two in particular, where I was just like, yo, what? One of them right at the start of the game.
Right at the beginning of the game, that boulder. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. What is going on?
Like, if you're yet to play this game, guys, anyone watching, if you're yet to play this game, there is a bit at the start of the game involving a boulder, and it'll wake you up if you're like playing this game sort of like half asleep. It will wake you up.
There was definitely some Attack on Titan opening vibes going on there.
Literally.
Yeah. That's actually
It was
it's a
Shiva.
fairly good comparison. Like Attack on Titan is something that I feel like this may have also drawn a bit of inspiration from, particularly with Titan. He just looks like the armored Titan.
He does, yeah. I was expecting, I was almost expecting him to like be relentlessly screaming the entire time.
Yeah, I'm quite grateful that they didn't go for like FF7 Titan and made him just like a man wearing big rock pants.
Yeah. And he's righteously massive as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like with with Titan, like, I mean, fair enough. Like he's usually played to be big, but like a lot of the usually a lot of the later summons that you get, like some of them, quite a few of them are bigger or portrayed to be bigger than him. I don't think there's really anyone bigger than him in in this one.
No, even like Odin on the horse might struggle.
Yeah, Odin on the horse, I don't think would come up past the chest.
Fucking madness. There were some other major staple summons or icons or whatever that we didn't even hear about at all. So I'd be
Yeah.
interested to know, like, how do they fit into the lore? Like, what does Alexander look like in this world?
Oh man, that's in the if we ever get a sequel, and it's more of a tech based world than a magic one. That's going to be the icon that they make.
Ooh.
They're going to build a new icon, and it's going to be Alexander.
Oh, that would actually be really sick.
And it's going to be righteous and holy.
Oh, that would actually work so well. Think of all the other things you could do with that
Yoshi
as well.
P, you listening? I know you watch the stream.
Well, even if Yoshi's not watching, Miyazaki is. He'll feed it over.
Yeah, probably in the same WhatsApp group.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, now it would be WeChat.
Oh yeah, Weibo.
But yeah, no, guys, take that idea. That was fucking solid, man. I like that a lot.
Yep.
Where in the name? Where are the rest of these straw hat daubers?
So they are. There's quite a lot of cages in here. It's not just. I'm pretty sure that over this camp they're like in 2s and 3s all over the shop.
All right. Well, I'm exploring. Anything more to say about FF, or are we happy to move on?
Right. Well, I'll wrap up. I'll just wrap up by saying that I really enjoyed it. I hope they do make DLC. I hope it's awesome. And I wouldn't mind, like, onwards of what we saw, like kind of the end credits and stuff. I wouldn't mind finding out what happens in that world next.
Yeah.
Like if they want to do later on, if they want to do like a game that's like as a sequel within this same universe, I'd be down with that. Or if that turns out to be e-release, then I'm cool with that. But like there was one other point I was going to make, and I'll get it over with super quickly. But I think a lot of people have had criticism for FF16 for various reasons, and chief among them is like the fact that it, as we were discussing at the beginning, it is more of an action game with like the sense that there are nods to RPG elements in it, but and then like because it is FF16 and it's been marketed as such, people are seeing this as like the next generation. They're looking at it and saying, oh, is this the improvement? Is this like what we're to look forward to from Final Fantasy from now on? And I would say probably not. It's not because every Final Fantasy game that's ever released, it's never an improvement. It's just a different iteration of it. Like every Final Fantasy game has its core conceit. Like regardless of what else is in it, it has its own thing that is unique to how that game is played. And it is, it's not an improvement. It's a variation. We may never come back to this particular combat style.
Yeah, true. Like there is no guarantee that this is the way things will go. I mean, proof in the pudding. The next major Final Fantasy release, we're going back to ATBs.
We absolutely are, yeah. And we're having, and like again, they're innovating on that as well because we've got team attacks.
Yes, and I actually really like an ATB system.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really love turn-based, but like I recognise that there have now been more. I think there have now been more non-turn-based Final Fantasies than there have been turn-based ones.
Oh shit! Right, there was an
So-
asshole here.
So it's so at this stage it's all really much of a muchness. It's all kind of what you prefer, more or less. But like I reckon I kind of like just look to recognize that this is not how Final Fantasy is going to look forevermore. This is just the latest version of it, and it'll change again, and it'll be barely recognizable again. They will probably come back to a lot of the elements they missed out of this one.
Oh, I think so. I think that enough people have voiced their opinion on not having. Did I just? No. I think enough people have voiced their opinion on not having staple mechanics that make Final Fantasy what it is. Like haste and slow in particular, I felt would have really made this combat a bit more fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole load of things that I really would have loved to have in it, and here's a great idea for free that would have improved it dramatically, right? So you know how like all the swords in the game are all just numbers,
Yes.
and they're all just numbers, and they look a bit different when you put them on, and that's it. It's just cosmetic.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be great if each sword had like the ability to be individually upgraded, but it brought them onto like level with each other, like the Keyblades do in Kingdom Hearts 3,
Or like in Dark Souls.
or like in Dark Souls, and on top of that, have each sword do a different thing when you hold square.
Yeah, something to make them a bit more unique and something to make them actually worth holding on to. Because there's so many of the swords in the game that I thought looked so cool. Is this door meant to open? What the fuck is going on here? There are no more cages here. I'm stuck in this small area unless there's another part of it that I haven't seen yet.
Right. Because you've got all these cages down here.
Yeah,
there were a couple up the back. How many are you missing?
4?
Like 4 Ronins?
Yeah.
Huh.
And like I say, like I'm going around the full circumference of what is open to me, looking for another area or another section that I've not been to yet,
Yep.
and nothing. Like been over here. Oops.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I was meant to come up here though.
Is there maybe some in the buildings, or have you been through them all?
Yeah, I've been in the buildings and they're all empty. That's how I got in.
Uh-huh.
Right, so come over. None of the gates are open. We'll go into this building and see if there's anything. No, see, empty, 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 empty.
Yeah,
Fuck
no
all
one at
here.
sword point.
Got these cages here. Back along this way.
Oh, there's one here.
Oh, cage. There better be a whole bunch of you assholes
There we
in
go.
here. Sorry, finally.
Yes.
And now this door that I've been hoping would open this entire time. Did I walk past that? Oh, thanks, Kiro. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, continue your thoughts on.
Yeah. So imagine like you could. So the Levin bolt, the sword that you get after getting Ramuh. That was one of my kind of favorite designs, and I thought that would be really cool if like instead of the flame strike, when you charge that up, wouldn't it have been great if you fired off like a lightning bolt in a straight line?
That would have been cool. I
And
would have liked the ability to use more different types of magic, kind of more freely, but it was very much like you're on Titan, so you can use earth magic with your triangle pew-pews, but it's functionally no different from the fire ones.
Yeah, because there are no elemental strengths and weaknesses. They all do the same damage.
Yeah, it would have been very cool to have the ability to, like, you know, on the fly use some fire to deal some fire damage and get things burning, and then use earth to
And
maybe restrict their movement.
yeah, like see, even if they had made like the magic like cast in a different way, like instead of it just being a pew pew. Like let's say for instance, what if with Titan instead of like, you know, what was that, like throwing a rock?
Yeah. I'm gonna throw a
What
rock
if
at
it
him.
what if it had been a shockwave that came out from you?
Yeah.
And it didn't have the range, but it had maybe had distance along the ground, but it didn't work on flying enemies because obviously no contact.
Yeah. Okay, a ripple.
Yeah. So like it does like maybe slightly more damage to grounded targets, but no damage to flying targets.
I could see that.
Like that could have varied it up a little bit.
Yeah, that would have
It just it just that there's so many areas in the game where it just could have used a little bit more imagination.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best effort from the. It almost feels like the more we're talking about it, the more I'm like, hang on a minute, did Capcom let this guy go as a like a plant?
Yeah, I did just show what a not quite so good as ours version looks like.
Yeah, and they're like,
Um,
guys, that game that we said is going to sell millions by March. You thought it was Monster Hunter. It's actually DMC6.
but like I think there's something to be said for the amount that we can like pick holes in it, because we could sit here and pick holes in this the whole time, but and like to a degree we kind of have, but like we still really enjoyed the game.
Oh yeah,
And like at the end of the game, like, you know, looking back over it in retrospect and wondering like about what might have been with FF16, it's still, you know, it doesn't make it any less for having experienced it.
I am very happy to say that it is definitely a good Final Fantasy, but I would struggle to say it's maybe a great Final Fantasy. There's definitely arguments for it, but at the end of the day, would I put my time with 16 on the same pedestal as my time with, you know, 6, 4, 7? Probably not, and I think it does just come down to the fact that while 16 has probably one of the strongest examples of a single main character that you can get behind and enjoy, the other games like 7, 6, and 4 in particular had the incredibly strong cast as well as the incredibly strong environments, narrative, set pieces, uh, just all of those things. And I think that the other games, like 16, has a lot of reliance on technology. Like the way it looks is superior to any other FF. The way that it handles is much more responsive and quicker. The voice work and the sound work, the technology for that's all improved. So for stuff like 4, 6, and 7 to stick out as much as they do, being, you know, pixel Lego respectively,
Yeah.
then yeah, I just feel like they kind of worked harder for it.
Yeah. I like I say, I really still enjoy the game. It kind of does give me hopes, you know, regardless of how much I criticize it. It gives me hope that you know, there are teams at Square that can still make good Final Fantasy games.
It gives me hope that the next thing we're going to see isn't going to be FF13R. You know,
God, yeah.
there is still some brain cells firing
Do
together.
you know there is genuinely among the FF fan base, there is genuinely people saying that.
Those people are trolls, dude.
That they no, they are not. I have seen people honestly clamoring for a 13 remake or remaster, and I will never understand them.
there are games that deserve it way more.
For sure.
Way more. Like 4 and 6. Six deserves it more than any of the other ones. 6.
Yep.
4 would be a huge personal preference. I even feel like we can't do 1 because we just did that. Kinda.
Yeah.
It would
Sort
be it would be a bit of a fucking slap in the dick to Ninja Theory if we just did their game better.
Yeah, just used half the assets.
Yeah. We like what you started here, but we think that...
That Garland armor's still good, yeah. Let's use that again.
Jack Garland. But yeah, I feel like it's good FF, very good. It's definitely not. It's definitely leagues above 15, 13, like 2, stuff like that. But it doesn't quite sit in the same echelon as 7 or 6, 4, 10. It's probably. Do you know what? I'd put it in the same tier as 12.
Yeah.
Absolutely adore it. Full of jank.
Yep. I on that I feel we can agree.
Yeah. I'd put it in that kind of tier, 12 tier.
Yep.
But,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fairly conclusive.
Yes. So, finally, right at the end, I can just very quickly run through the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Well, we should probably. Do we have time to scale Castle Canada?
Do you know what? Let's do it. Let's finish Act 1. This Castle Canada, I don't think takes very long. If we'll go through that, we'll finish Act 1 and start next week afresh with Act 2.
Lovely. Okay, in that case, then the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about this evening. First, an apology to if the Keen Bros are still listening. Sorry, my dudes. I did plan to have an Evo watch party and completely forgot that I said I would go to my friend's house to see him. He just bought a house.
Okay.
I completely whiffed on that house as in Stirling. And he also got engaged. So it became like a kind of double. It became like a kind of double thing. So I had to borrow the car, go and drive to get the other 2 guys. You know, because it's my download boys. There's 4 of us, and one of us is getting married. So the other 3 had to all get together to celebrate. So I said, "Fuck getting a train to Stirling. That sounds like shit. I will borrow the car and drive us." Forgetting, or not forgetting, because I didn't know at all in the first place, but there was some fucking bicycle thing going on in Glasgow that was cutting the city in half.
Yes.
And these 2 guys both live in opposite ends of Glasgow, which normally it's not that bad to get between. But this time it took me 2.5 hours to get from Paisley to one part of Glasgow to the other part of Glasgow to Stirling. It took a long time. So,
yeah, the bike race thing in Glasgow is crazy right now. I work in the city centre, so I'm exposed to that quite a lot right now.
Oh, it fucking sucked. But anyway, so yeah, it took me ages, and then we stayed there, so I had to come back the next day, and then that was when all the top 60s were on, and by the time I got back and went to my dad's and finished, I basically just had enough time to grab Floor and get home, watch it, and go to sleep. But did manage to watch quite a lot of the top 60s, and holy shit, man, this year was cursed.
Right.
I think 6, potentially 7 of the 8 top, like the main games, at least 6 of the final, like the grand finals for these games were mirror matches.
Right.
And mirrors are boring.
Yes.
So, yeah, that wasn't great. But a lot of really good fights, a lot of good gameplay, a lot of really fucking cool announcements. and it's the announcements that I wanted to talk about because there was some stuff in there that genuinely made me hype as hell. But there
Okay.
was also some jank. So I'll tell you a lot of the stuff that was announced, and you can kind of tell me if you think it was hype or jank as
Okay.
an outsider, because obviously
Okay.
I feel like I'm fairly entrenched in the fighting game community at this point, and I feel like you don't give a shit. So
It's not. It's not that. It's not that I don't give a shit. I think that I've been really liking the fact that that this year in particular is shaping up to be an awesome year for fighting game fans. I just don't. I just don't operate within that sphere at all. I mean, the last fighting game that I bought and owned was Soul Calibur 5.
oh well, there's your problem. SoCal's dog shit.
It
SoCal.
used to be fun.
It used to be fun, but SoCal's a game that is like, you know how you get some games that are just for like art perverts or like audio perverts.
For sure, yeah.
SoCal's just for perverts, just face degenerate verts. It's none of that, none of that. I'm gonna get you into some
Thought
real.
thought that was Guilty Gear.
That's for anime perverts.
There's a difference.
Potentially the purest form of pervert is the anime pervert.
Yep.
They're the most open
Distilled.
about it. They have nothing to hide. But yeah, so some really, really good. That did you see that? Did you see that?
What happened?
I killed that guy and he instantly respawned.
He just another one popped up to replace him.
Yeah, like instantly. That was kind of fucked up. All right.
That's wild.
Anyway, so yeah, lots of cool announcements. Some stuff that I think was possibly normie bait and might lure some normal ass non-fighting game folk
Okay.
into some fighting games.
My Google search is at the ready for when you announce these things, because chances are I will have to look into what these things are in some cases.
Ah, no, I'll explain it all. Don't you worry about that. You know, I won't leave you worry about right.
Dargo explains it all.
So the first kind of major thing that we have actually already spoken about was, instead of fixing the broken mess that was Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl, and instead of actually doing the things that they said they were going to do to improve the game, such as give it crossplay or improve the neck functionality or add new characters or whatever, they said, yes, we are going to do all of those things as a sequel that you will have to buy again. So Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl 2 has been announced, and they announced it with they are leaning all the way into memes. All the way. So
Okay.
it started with a reveal of Squidward as a new fighter.
Okay.
And then they've also announced Jimmy Neutron is going to be in it, because sure, his dad was in it, but Jimmy wasn't.
Mhm.
And then they have also announced at the at Evo that Plankton is going to be in it, in his like big Plankton mech suit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you know they're leaning into the memes. They even had like handsome Squidward as part of it now as well.
Oh, is he a skin?
I don't know if he's a skin or if he is like a move that when you use that move, Squidward transforms into handsome Squidward for that move. You know, like a kind of like a
Oh
buff.
right, yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how it works. But yeah, so that was a game that was announced, and I think that's interesting. But I don't know if it's justified because the first one died so hard.
So what was it I was to separate it into? Was it hyper jank or hyper trash? What was it there?
It what do you think? How do you feel? I'll let you make the scale since you're the one reacting. What the fuck? Is there a fucking turret up there? What the fuck? Where did that come from?
I didn't realise you were alive at that point.
What the?
What happened?
Is this Castle Strongbow?
So there is a particular point that you need to get in using the grappling hook, because as it say, you're entering the enemy stronghold. The whole point with the story is that you have to use this hook to get into a place that's not quite as well guarded in the castle.
Well, it'd be nice if that part could fucking reveal itself, because right now I'm just oh, hang on, what's that up there? Yeah, right now I'm just getting fucking jobbed. Never mind, they've seen me again. Bruh, there is not even people shooting me. That's just that's some dog shit. Right. Anyway, back to the other.
Okay.
Kind of...
So, I'm gonna say like neutral to trash with this one, because this was a game that was when it was first put out. They said that it was going to have some form of life cycle, and it absolutely didn't. I mean, fair enough. Not every game is is to be considered a live service these days. Good God, no. But when you're dealing with a fighting game, and I think actually that there is one other fighting game, and I suppose it's more of a casuals fighting game, but I did get very into Smash. So I do know the value of keeping your community for your game interested by introducing new things. Be that new stages, new fighters, new outfits or costumes or whatever.
I'll tell you something that is overwhelmingly valuable in the fighting game space that other games utilize well, but not as well as maybe they should, and that is a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
See, just a guarantee that there is something new coming out really does help with the will to keep going.
Yeah. Ironically, one of the best roadmaps out right now is the one that Nintendo have got for Mario Kart. Have you seen the season pass for Mario Kart at the moment?
No, I haven't.
It is absolutely nutty, but I don't want to detract too much from your. I'll say go ahead and look up after the stream. I don't want to detract too much from the Evo feature.
Fair enough. Right, so what was the first?
So yeah, for that was Nickelodeon. That was the first announcement. What was the next one?
So I'm trying to remember the order that we actually watched things in, because there was announcements tied to each game. So the first best of 6 final match that we watched. Fuck, what was it? You pull up a list of the games that were there.
Right. Okay. So games at Evo 23. Eight fighting games.
Yep.
Street Fighter 6.
Right, so that was the main event.
Right.
What they announced at that was that there's going to be a new DLC, I think. I didn't really watch too much of that. That was the one top 6 that we whiffed on because it started at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, like that was like kind of one of the things they made, like, kind of as the big deal for this Evo. And I remember that when they were advertising Street SF6, because they made a huge deal out of saying that, at this year's Evo we're going to have Street Fighter 6 front and center.
Oh, that's
it's
because
going to.
Evo used to be very much a Smash tournament, and then Nintendo said, Sony own it? No, they can't play our game. No, no, no. So now everybody else gets a chance to shine.
Yeah. So like other games that were here, just going up from the bottom now. MVC3.
So Marvel vs. Capcom, they did a really great tournament. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed watching that one immensely. So much, in fact, that we set up the PS2 on the Wii screen and we were playing MVC2 the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was great. It really was. But yeah, I don't think there was any kind of major announcements there because obviously Marvel vs. Capcom, it's not getting a new game. There's no Marvel fucking 4 happening.
The next one we can move to definitely definitely would have something to talk about given that it was Tekken 7.
Yes, so we got a character reveal for this one that was really, really cool. I cannot fucking find the place that I'm supposed to go. Yeah, we got a couple of character reveals there. One of them was for a returning character, and that was Raven.
Are you tracking the quest?
Yeah. Oops. I'm tracking the location, and I should be tracking the quest. Yeah. Meet you at Komatsu Forge. Oh, what the fuck?
Oh no, man.
Bro.
Oh.
You can't. You can't leave me unattended like this.
You got to start the quest, man.
I got sidetracked.
Oh no. You got the blinkers on, man.
I do. I just want to get through it now.
So, the character reveal for Tekken.
Oh, hang on, somebody outside. It's not a fight, boo. Yeah, so they announced Raven's coming back. Raven was the kind of he looks exactly like Blade.
Nice.
Like specifically Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Right, yeah.
So returning character, very cool. People are happy to see him. But they also announced the first brand new character. So this is the first time we've seen anybody that's exclusive to Tekken 8. Like, we've never seen them before.
Alright, yeah.
And it was a Peruvian fighter. Tekken's awesome because every character is from, like, different nationalities, and they speak the language of the nationality they are from.
Nice.
So this is the first time we've had some Peruvian representation. Her name's Azucena, and she is a coffee queen.
Right.
Like, she's just a bit nuts and her whole thing's coffee, but her gameplay looks wild. She has Ultra Instinct. Her entire thing is that she will counter whatever you throw at her.
Right, so perfect defense.
Yeah, like big dodge punish, big whiff punish energy. It's pretty interesting. It looks like it might be fun to play. But that's
like
pretty
an
big for
entirely counter-based character.
Yeah, they also announced that Tekken World Tour will be happening in February, which makes me think that the game, or March even, January even, which makes me think that the game might be out come like end of February, start of March.
That's cool. So potentially hinting at our release window.
Potentially, we've not got one yet, but we'll see. The other big reveal, the other kind of major thing that they announced at Evo this year was for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate was obviously one of the other games there. I think that was the one I was going to go on to next.
Yeah, so we got a big reveal for MK, and it was for, I think it was 4 new characters.
Right, and that will be for the new Mortal Kombat 1, right?
Yes, and the main draw, the biggest new character that was revealed was Reptile. And
oh, nice.
The design they have for him this time is pretty interesting. So Reptile traditionally is displayed as like the third. You know, there's like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, blue and yellow, and Reptile's the green one.
He's a green ninja.
Yeah. He spits poison, and sometimes he's got a reptile face, and sometimes he doesn't. Well,
Yeah.
in this one, they've gone for the lore that he is a full like lizard man, like
Right.
the lizard from Spider-Man,
I'm into it.
but he can transform into a human.
Oh, just like to represent himself as a normie.
Yeah. So when you fight and it looks like you are mostly in human like normie form,
Uh-huh.
but some of his moves he will instantly transform into the lizard, do the move and then transform back, or sometimes he'll half transform so his top half's a lizard or his bottom half's a lizard so he can sweep with the tail.
Right.
And it just looks like you get these mad on the fly transformations and it's so bizarre to look at.
Do you think in the close up he's gonna have like facial transformation and stuff?
Maybe because I've seen a couple of his like main moves and he does a lot of biting and also a lot of tail swiping, but like I say, he is majority a human.
Yeah. So like the other the other ones that were just to rhyme them off, the other games that were there. I don't know if you saw any of these. There was Fighters, there was Guilty Gear Strive,
Soft Strive.
and King of Fighters 15. The the last game on here is one that I've never ever heard of, and maybe you could shed some light on this just purely for my morbid curiosity. It's called Melty Blood.
Yeah, Melty Blood.
Yeah, what's that
It's
all about? What's
kind of
what's a Melty Blood?
kind of anime hyper fighter. Very colorful sprites, and it's not one that I've actually put any time into, but people that talk about it say that it's very good. However, this was something that I was talking about with Florian when I was watching it. We are about to enter into an era where I don't think Evo's going to look the same going forward. I think that we're about to
Makes you say
dramatically.
that.
I think we're about to swap roster. I think that we're
Okay.
about to get into a time where so there's 8 games there, right?
hmm
Let's just say, for argument's sake, that the big 3, right? And I would argue that the big 3 in fighting games is Tekken, MK, and Street Fighter. They're your kind of
Yeah.
household names, right? People that don't
Uh-huh.
play fighting games know about Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to change. But look at the other 5 games, right? So what games are there? You've got Fighters. Fighters
Yep.
is old. Fighters, I don't think is even getting any more like seasons as far as like new characters or whatever. And it's a great game, but you know it's getting to the point where it's retirable, and there's not been an announcement of a Fighters 2, so we're not going to be replacing Fighters with Fighters 2. So there is a good chance that that could be swapped out for something like, say, Project L, which would be completely new. You know, we've never seen Project L before, but there's a lot of hype
Yeah.
surrounding it.
Oh, that's the correct me if I'm wrong. That's the League of Legends universe one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's been made by Tom and Tony Cannon. They're the guys that both invented Evo, like they came up with Evo, but they also came up with rollback netcode, which is like a huge thing in fighting games.
Yeah,
like you basically
you did it. Yeah, you did explain this to me. Look, correct me if I'm just so that I'm on the same page. This is the the program algorithm thing that basically ensures that that the gameplay is synchronized properly.
Yeah, when you're playing online, it's sort of a system that means that even if you are not playing with like the highest speed connections and you guys aren't on the same servers, there won't be enough of an input delay that it will significantly advantage or disadvantage any one player. In theory, it's not a perfect system, but it does help a lot, and it's one of those things now that it's became such a desired feature. Like it's pretty much on the box for a fighting game. Yes, we have rollback netcode, and if people don't see that, then it will almost deter them from wanting to play it online at least.
It's a cause for
Anyway.
concern.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're playing like a PS2 game and it said it didn't have Rumble support, and you would be like,
Yeah.
the fuck?
Aye.
Why not?
You got that a lot with N64, like no Rumble pack support. Come on.
Yeah, you know, it just felt like, oh, why is that not in the game? Come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was one of those things. Shit, what was I just talking about?
Rollback netcode.
No, like before that. Oh, Tom and Tony Cannon. Yeah, so these
Yeah.
guys invented that.
Project
At this year's Evo, they did actually get awarded the key to Vegas, like the key to the site,
Right. Uh-huh.
for their contributions. Because this Evo was taking place in Nevada and New York, in Las Vegas, sorry, and it was one of the biggest attendances you've seen. Like it was a packed arena, packed. It looked like it looked like a fucking concert for one of the biggest bands on earth. You know, just completely packed. And such a great energy. So those guys, I imagine with the amount of history they have with Evo, there's no shot Project L's not going to become a main focus game. So,
Yeah.
like I say, we'll keep the ones that are really recognizable for the normie crowd, the Street Fighter, the Tekken, the Mortal Kombat. But the other 5 games, I think, are now up for renewal, just in terms of like what's recent and what people are wanting to see and what will draw attention. So I feel like Project L is going to go into that mix, depending on what Tenkaichi Budokai 4 is, the new Tenkaichi Budokai game. Maybe that'll end up on it. There are actually a lot of fighting games.
Are we not due another? I mean, I'm just kind of going by the big names that I know of here in this genre of games, but aren't we due another Killer Instinct soon? Or is that a complicated question?
That is a complicated question. Now, I will admit that I said something and I was wrong. And what I said was, we will not hear anything about Killer Instinct at EVO because KI is exclusively a Microsoft game. And EVO is now owned and operated by Sony.
Yep.
So why would Sony go advertising their biggest competitor's biggest fighting game, which is Beloved, if that would detract attention? But no, it appears that Sony might actually have done what is best for the community, because there was actually a KI announcement at EVO.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, which I was not expecting. It's not a new game, but basically KI has been beloved by people for such a long time that they've brought some of the old team back together, and they're essentially going to do a new full update for the game.
So, remember and speak with Masako there.
Yeah.
You had a prompt.
So yeah, it's going to be a full update of the game with new features, new ways to play, new everything. Basically, they're going to just throw in as much love to it as they can to support the people that have been playing the game for as long as it's been around. So I think that was really cool. But no new KI game. I don't think we'll see KI back on the main stage. Maybe like I don't see it happening.
No,
I don't really see it happening. But we've got we have Project L coming out. I'm trying to think of some of the other fighting games that have been announced that are coming out soon that we could potentially see taking the main stage at EVO next year. But do you know that way I'm kind of brain farting on what's actually being released.
is that I think that Project L one, like, I did hear about that. I don't know if there's really been anything besides that's really pinged on my outsider's radar, so to speak.
Well, I mean, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2.
Yeah.
Who knows? Man, I really... Give me a second. DNF duel? Nah, no shot. No chance. Let me just do a quick Google here. Upcoming fighting games. Or, actually, could you do that Google search so that I can...
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, upcoming fighting games, and we'll see if anything looks like it could potentially take a top like
Okay.
main stage slot from one of the existing games.
So we've got 17 fighting games to look forward to in 23. Some of these will probably be out.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
So there's one called Orbitals. There's Blazing World Stars. These don't seem like they're really. Some of these don't seem like they're really Evo material. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Oh yeah, is that coming out or is that out?
That is, I think that's later 23. I don't know if that is out yet. I don't think it is.
Right, well if Grand Blue's coming out, I could see that definitely taking a slot for main stage. I would probably swap that with Melty.
This, just to give a bit of, what you've been mentioning there, it does have rollback netcode and crossplay, alongside auto combo-esque triple attacks, new dash attacks akin to those seen in Under Night in Birth, and other top fighters from French Bread, which is, I think, the maker of it.
Okay.
So what else is King of Fighters? Let me see. Oh yeah, there's a new edition of King of Fighters 13 coming out.
Oh, sick.
It's Project L. Garou Mark of the Wolves.
Ooh.
Don't know what that is.
No, alright, okay. Garo.
Okay.
Garo's pretty special. Garo's
Okay.
an old fighting game. That's like your like Fatal Furies from back on the way back in the day, and that's where characters like your Terry Bogards come from.
Yeah.
So we're getting a new Garo. It's the first Garo in I think like 20 years,
Yeah.
and it's only possible because fighting games are so popular. So very cool, but yeah, Garo. Depending on Neo Geo era, thank you. I feel like Garo could potentially make it, just depending on how it actually plays when it comes out. But I think the fan hype behind that would be awesome. Like, I think people would be really hype on a new Garo and seeing that played at main stage. 'Cause that's the thing. Like Evo is the Olympics of fighting games. These are the best players in the world. So you want to see games that are cool to see as a spectator being played at the highest possible tier.
Well, yeah, and I was talking about this with Emma the other night. She was talking about like how you were mentioning that you were going to be watching Evo, and I was like it's not something I'm likely to watch, but I totally appreciate being able to watch the highest level of gameplay with any game, and having it be a fighting game where you pit the best of that community against each other. That's cool.
This motherfucker got a flaming sword?
Yes, you do.
The fuck, dude? What kind of anime bullshit is this?
Well, you get to do it later.
Oh.
It's one of your myth abilities. You can see it in your menu.
Sick. Bruh, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
The circumstances in which you come by it are actually pretty cool.
Oh, come on, guys. Stop taking turns poking me.
So next up was there is a chance for Guilty Gear Strive to cement itself, I suppose, with Evo, because there's a season 2.
Yeah, no, I don't see Strive coming off the main stage anytime soon.
Yeah. There's also a season 2 for King of Fighters 15.
KOF's probably staying as well. Guys. Stop with these unblockables.
And the last 3 on this list are, of course, Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, and SF6, which is already out.
Right,
Because obviously there's a fair bit to go with Street Fighter 6 on its roadmap, I would guess.
Oh yeah. I think we're even still looking at like DLC characters coming out. That I'm not sure if there have been DLC characters for SF6 yet.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's still. Is it not still in base game?
Yeah, I think it is still very much in its infancy as a fighting game. So I wouldn't worry about. Like I say, that's one of the top 3. I don't think that would ever come off just for brand recognition.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones people that have never played a fighting game know what Street Fighter is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people will be particularly keeping an eye on it in future to see if any more nude mods pop up.
There's one kind of more interesting one on this, I suppose, and it is obviously the Soul Calibur comparisons will be made, but there's a game coming out called Die by the Blade, which is an all like kind of sword play fighting game.
Okay.
It looks. I mean, like from what I can see by the screenshots, it looks pretty. It looks pretty like graphically cool.
Maybe as a side event.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if that's gonna unseat anything.
I feel like it's more 2024 onwards. We're looking for the next big fighting games. That's when a lot of the ones that I think might actually upset the ecosystem of current games in the lineup for Evo.
So the interest, I'm just reading a bit about this just now. The Die by the Blade. The interesting thing potentially about this is that rounds could be over quite quickly. Because apparently it operates under the same rules as on the PS1. Do you remember Bushido Blade?
Yes.
Where all it takes is the right kind of hit in the right spot to insta-kill.
Do you know, there's so many old fighting games that I just want to come back in some capacity. I would love to see... I would love for Evo 2025 to look like the arcade in 1997, or like... maybe a bit later than that, maybe like 2000. But there's so many old fighting games that we haven't had a new entry of in such a long time that would be so... not even cool, just maybe not even good, just weird to see come back that I would love. Like, did you ever play Battle Arena Toshinden?
No, I didn't, no.
Oh, it sucked. I loved it. It was so janky.
All right, this one here that I've just read about might be something you'll be interested in because it crosses over with another one of those game types that you really like.
Okay.
A fighting game crossing paths with a rhythm game.
Oh.
Have you heard of this game God of Rock?
No.
Okay, so apparently, let me see. It's made by Maximum Games, and you have it's musicians fighting each other by hitting their beats on time while hitting each other. There are more than 40 tracks for players to play, 12 characters, and they all have different styles. It came out actually already in April. And and apparently like the only kind of problems it had, because it has a good bit of genre blending going on. Apparently it was a bit wonky on PC, but was pretty well received.
What isn't wonky on PC these days?
Yeah, it seems to be kind of holding pattern at the moment. Like I mean, I'm quite happy being, you know, like Team Sony on this one, but give PC players good ports and give Xbox fans a break, because they kind of need one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm starting to lose my fucking patience with this. I think I might be
At least you're not having to be stealthy anymore.
Still fucking run up and gank this guy while he's not looking.
Yep.
More of them I can take out without actually having to fight them, the better. You are a damage sponge, my boy. Oh, good kick, good kick. Perfect kick. Back away to that. I'm just trying to take it as... Really? Really? Oh, fuck this. This is madness. Right, see you. Take that. Arsehole. See you. Hold that. Arsehole. See you. Judo slash! How did you survive that? It was a goddamn bomb stuck to you. What's he made of? Right, big lad. Stop attacking Yuna. I need her. Right, see when I'm in this stance, that means when I press triangle, you say ow. You don't fucking dodge my move, counter, and continue this and count. He's doing it again. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, what's the stance?
What even is a stance?
Jesus, man.
I have to say, like, when it is a crazy viewing experience when you're all like fighting down to the wire in this game, because obviously all the vision blurs and all that shit.
Stab him in the fucking throat. Oh, that's a spear. That's wind stance. Or is it?
Yep.
Whatever stance I'm in currently, that's the correct one.
Yep. It is indeed wind. Just walked right into that.
Love that one. Yeah, there was a lot of fighting games on the horizon that are coming out that could potentially topple them, but I'm just struggling to think of them off the top of my head right now. I must be getting real tired.
Aye. I chucked my pre-order in today for Armored Core 6.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. And do you know it's do you know what else I'm gonna need to do as well? I'll probably wait till I get paid for this one, but I need to stick in my order for Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, Sandy's been talking about that a lot and really hyping it up, and it's been getting incredible reviews. Yeah. It's just not a game that interests me.
It's out for PC already, which is why, you know, he's been able to play it earlier.
Yeah.
For us console peasants, it is the 3rd of September. Yeah, but it just doesn't appeal to you. Is it that it's like too slow, would you say, or just too story heavy? What do you think?
Nah, because I play slow, story-heavy games. I think I'm just really done with fantasy.
Fair enough.
Like, I just don't know. There's just... As soon as you say it's a D&D thing, my brain just shuts off.
Fair enough.
But I don't know if that's the association with the tabletop game, because I'm really not a fan. And it's really just... I'm not a fan because it was my job for so long. You betrayed me, you dick.
Ah, yes. Samurai Betrayal. Your best friend Ryuzo's turned his back on you.
Of course he has.
Now kick his ass.
Here's what I'm thinking, right? Obviously, I've not looked into anything of the story, apart from what I've played. But I think that we're going to have to resort to these tactics to get Uncle back. I reckon Mongo Man that's talking to him in the cage is going to actually convince him of something. And I think by the end of it, we might rescue Uncle and bring Honor back to Tsushima, but he will turn his back on us and we'll end up having to fight him. And at the end, it'll be a very, like, we won, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, like, it definitely lends itself to that kind of storytelling, samurai stories, isn't it?
Either that, or it's going to get super literal, and we're going to die and become a ghost.
Well, I think is that not what that free game from the other month, Trek to Yomi, is?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. You play as a samurai, and Yomi is actually the Japanese word for the underworld.
Okay.
So I think you literally travel into death, so to speak. But apparently it's a really artsy game, and you can finish it in like 6 hours. But it's I do plan on giving it a go, especially on this console.
I'll maybe try and bash out a platinum, but right now my full focus is just getting the plat on FF16 so I can give the game to my old man to play.
Yeah.
Well, like I said though, just talking about the old man, what he's been up to, he was telling me a wee bit. I've not spoke to him in any kind of great detail about it, but he was telling me a wee bit about his FF7 journey. And obviously FF7 is very important. That was the game that me and him spent most of my childhood playing together, and 4 of my tattoos are that, and you know how important it is to me. Yeah. He started off playing it, and he wasn't really feeling it. You know, he didn't like Barrett. Thought Barrett was too preachy, and wasn't really feeling the like combat or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, no, that's fair enough, but try this. You know, like try playing as Tifa. Try doing this. Try, you know, just give it a wee bit of time. And then by the next time I spoke to him, he was like, yeah, I'm past wall market. I love it.
Yeah. I really need to go and play episodes Yuffie.
That's immediately after 16. That's what I'm doing.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm totally up for doing that fairly soon. But I'll maybe do that as a palate cleanser from being absolutely schooled continuously in Returnal.
Ah, yes, that's a game that we are going to have to play together, my friend. I love that game. I have nothing but good things to say about it. Do you want to give me a wee bit of your thoughts and feelings while I'm getting through this last section of this?
For sure. So I started Returnal basically, you know, after I got finished with 16, because you know me, I'm a filthy casual. I'm not a platinum hunter. When I've finished with a game, I'm kind of on to the next one. I want to play something else, and I don't really have like time enough, I would think, to or the will really to devote to any one game, especially when we've just got PS Extra.
Yeah.
So I want to get out there and experience as much of it as I possibly can. Like, I desperately want to play that Have a Nice Death game we got free this month. There's a little cartoony Grim Reaper slasher game that's a bit like Hollow Knight, but everything's a bit more squashy and stretchy.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've added it to the thing, but I've not actually looked into it.
Yeah, check out a trailer, man. It is very pleasant to look at, and it has like that sort of, you know, like the late game Hollow Knight stuff where it kind of turns into a bit of a bullet hell.
Yeah.
There appear to be bosses in this game like that.
All right. I'll give it a shot. That's the thing though, like 16 has just completely dominated it, and then there's also Monster Hunter, and goddamn, like we still haven't got all the Monster Hunter available to us on the PS yet, so...
We haven't, no, that's the end of this month, which I will totally do through with you and optionally Oldman.
He'll be there.
When that comes out as a palate cleanser to Armored Core, because I'll be playing that too.
Oh yeah, goddamn! I think I'm probably going to throw in a pre-order for it as well because it just looks so good, and the gameplay loop from everything I've seen in my research of the previous games has just made me thirsty for it. I love the idea of a death spiral.
Because like I've never played an Armored Core game, so there you go. You can now assassinate people through doors, and I've never ever played one, and the idea of it just like intrigues me because it makes me think that it could be close to the sort of mobile suit game that I've always dreamed of.
And I feel as though now's a really good time for it, because what other mech games are we looking at? Exoprimal, you know?
Exoprimal and that Gundam Overwatch game that recently got its shit canned.
Oh, is that dead?
Yeah, apparently they're killing it.
Oh man!
It's not dead. It's been taken out behind the woodsheds.
Ah, right, okay. Oops, should have assassinated that guy. Didn't do that.
That's alright, you got him. But yeah, like the game intrigues me more than anything else. Because if it is the game I'm expecting it to be, and I realise it's a bit dangerous to go in expecting quite a lot of it, but if it is the sort of game that I'm hoping it is, it will be among my top ranked games ever.
Here we go.
Because I've always wanted something like it.
Would he be proud?
Yeah.
Don't immediately
Sing songs of victory.
Yeah, don't immediately run that sword through my spine, please, Uncle. Oh my god, it's nearly midnight. I'm so sorry this is taking so long.
That's okay.
Should we just pause it here?
Oh, we're in epic charge mode now.
Alright, well,
we might as well. I got no other place to be.
Alright, if you're sure.
I
just feel bad about it.
I mean, I am absolutely going to eat anything that my recovering from emergency dental treatment mouth will allow me to. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see this through.
You didn't tell me about the dental.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it sucks, man. I do have a follow-up appointment for it as well, which is probably going to result in me getting a tooth pulled out. But it's it is one that I actually broke. So and the break is the source of the problem. I ended up with a big swollen moof. So we sorted that out. We're on some antibiotics and pain pills.
Oh, this again. Another crowd. And these dudes in the yellow are beefy.
I really
Getting-
love like the combat animations in this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot better at the stance switching.
Yeah. And you see what I mean now that you've unlocked all of them, like switching between them. Once you get the feel for like where each one is, like you know that you know which stance is in what position, and you can just go to it without thinking about it.
Yeah, once you start to get the flow, it does start to feel almost Devil May Cry, because you're
Yeah.
constantly just switching between forms and responding to the situation.
Yeah, like a well-designed action game.
Look at that.
Hey,
It all
it
comes
came
full
full circle.
God damn it.
Ah. In each other's brains again.
Get out of my squishy bits.
But it's cozy in here.
Yeah, there we go. We did it. We can finally go home.
Saved your uncle.
And that means that I've got 3 minutes left on this event in this dumb game. Time to purge all of my stashed loot.
2 days later.
2 days later.
Castle Shimmerer.
Ooh. It's no longer Castle Canada.
Yep.
この門を開いてはくれぬか。同胞がくたびれ飯も食えず凍えている。
This guy's still got a little more meat to slap down, I guess.
助けてやれ。
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not being metaphorical. He does actually have people tied up, cold, starving in front of the castle. He was not being figurative at all.
What a bastard.
He's like, you want to save them? Come outside and get them. We'll wait. By all accounts, a boss move.
Yeah, he's really not pissing about here.
And now
Well-
he's cooking them.
Well, that wasn't very nice. He's not very nice.
No, he's not. But he is our primary antagonist for this evening, so...
Killing is wrong. There should be a
Oh,
new...
he's making Ryuzo do it.
門を開けろ。門を開けろ。
Actually, he dropped it and it just lit up anyway. It's like, oh no. A new horizon.
Oh, look at that shot.
This game's majestic. Oh my god, guys, stop talking so I can go home.
探してるハーンが城を奪ったらしいね。
竜蔵を信じたばかりに
みんな測られた。
残ってくれたのだな。
まあね。
He surely did fool us all.
帯について叔父上に話してくれ。
志村様なら。
Ah, beautiful. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, especially, for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
And we will be back on Thursday with FF7 getting into the second disc.
We shall.
So
And
hype.
and first the end of disc 1, which is going to be a turbulent and emotional night for everyone.
Oh God, yep.
Yep. Let's hit it.
Well, thanks everyone.
I
See you
will
then.
prepare.
Yeah. Right. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
Oops. How the hell did I do this again? Like that.